y'all, welcome back to my channel. I'm Beth. Today we are going to do a plan with me for June 10th through the 16th. You can tell I'm going for a little bit of a vibe change here on my desktop. That's mainly for me. I'm tired of dealing with the very high glare that my desk has, so I decided to cover it up. We're going to see how it works. This week is Father's Day in the US, so let's go ahead and get started. I'm adding some new things in, changing things up a little bit as I have been for the last couple of weeks. So let's see how that all works out. Last week, I did not spend a whole lot of time in this task list situation that I thought I was going to really love because I enjoyed having it during my week off, but I didn't love having it. And I didn't like coming back to this page necessarily. I'm still going to have to come back to my weekly a lot because I'm setting up some health things in here. One of the reasons that I didn't use my weeklies as much is because I was deep in my dailies. These are my daily pages for this past week. I was all up in my daily pages all week long. This is my weekend spread. I'm somewhere in here on Saturday and Sunday. I've already done my weekly ritual, which is something that is part of the bullet journal method that I have not been good at. I've been okay doing a monthly ritual and a year-end ritual where you're looking back, seeing how things have gone in that time period. I've not been really great about doing a weekly one, and I think I really need it. And I really need it to be at the end of the week, which is on Sunday. So as you can see with this video, I'm going to start posting my plan with me's on Monday morning. I just need the extra time on Sunday to actually dig in and reflect on my week, and then film, and then edit, and then post. Obviously, that'll change if I have things going on Sunday, like this week is Father's Day. I'll probably be doing a bunch of stuff with my ex-husband and my kids this day. I have no idea. It's also my son Kenny's birthday, so there's a lot of question marks about what's happening on the 15th or the 16th right now because we're also juggling around, obviously, my ex-husband's family as well because his father is still living and they live in the same town. My family lives out of state. There's still question marks about what else is going on here. But let's go ahead and set up for the week. I've got my stickers cut out for my June kit, which was the cobalt door, kind of Eastern Mediterranean Turkish vibes. And let's go ahead and get this done. I have not a weird week, but my work from home days versus my remote days are all messed up because there's days that I definitively have to be in the office. So I'm going to go ahead and let's just draw a line on my work hours, which are 8 to 5. We do get a full hour for lunch if we want to break away, which I'm terrible at taking and breaking away. My past therapist and now my new therapist are like, yeah, you need to be taking that break for multiple reasons. We'll talk about it here in a minute. So there's my 8 to 5 work hours. I'm going to go ahead and put in my office and remote days since they are different this week than usual. And I'm just assuming that I wrote that terribly. I'm just assuming that I can try and take a work from home day on Thursday since I can't do it on Tuesday or Wednesday. I was going to swap Tuesday and Wednesday, but now there's something that I need to be at work for on Wednesday, an in-person thing that I have to attend. So hopefully I can swing remote both Thursday and Friday. I'm going to get out my dot marker and put in those meetings for the week. Let's see, right there, I have a thing. Another one on Tuesday. Monday's very quiet, and I'm not mad about it. I have a meeting there, the thing that I have to be on campus for there. I'm going to have some other things that I have to pepper in here. I've mentioned before, chair of our MVP committee at work. I've been putting together a new committee for our next fiscal year, which is July through June. We always have a new committee for that period of time. And I'm doing an orientation on Wednesday at 11 for some of the members of my new committee, but they can't all make it. And that's just the way it is, right? So I need to schedule some individual orientations somewhere through the course of this week for the 4 individuals that can't make any of the times that were available. One of them, I think, is not even in the office this next week, so I'll have to do their orientation even the following week. It just is what it is. I think I want to box these out in blue. Maybe. Probably not going to be all that neat, but we're going to do it. I've mentioned before that these are real life plan with me. I don't slow down and try to make it super Insta aesthetic. They're just for me. I share them with y'all, but don't judge me. I could make them far, far prettier if I took 2 hours to film this thing, and I'm just not gonna do that. It makes no sense. All right, on Tuesday, I have a PCP appointment, which is coming at a good time. There's things we gotta talk about. So I've got an hour and a half blocked off for that, and that's just gotta get there, have the appointment, gotta get back sort of situation. Also on Tuesday, I have my MVP surprise with our CEO for the June MVP for this year. He likes to pop up and surprise them personally. He was out last week, so we're a little delayed. We like to get it into the first week of June, somewhere in here, or the first week of the month. But that's okay. Sometimes, you know, it's summer, people are in, people are out. On Wednesday, I have a staff meeting every 2 weeks, 9 a.m. on staff meeting. Here I have that orientation. I'm just going to put orient, short for orientation. And then the thing that I have to be on campus for is to go with a photographer and our CEO and some other people to go check out our beehives, which I didn't know we had. That's definitively an in-person thing, so we're going to go look at the bees. So I'm just writing bees. That is because my boss is not available on Wednesday. She's starting vacation this day. She would normally do this thing and has asked me to step in, and that's perfectly fine. I'm glad to do that for her so that she can take a break. All right, I'm going to get a heavier black. I'm going to use a Tombow Furunosuke. And here in the middle, we are going to block off our lunch breaks, but we're going to put a big fat memo in the middle of these boxes, reminding me that I'm not supposed to be eating my lunch at my desk, whether I'm at home or work, either one, that I need to be doing something else, somewhere else. Sit outside in our lovely weather, which we'll talk about a little bit later. It's going to be hot, but it's going to be lovely. I'm going to put in here, oi, no sad desk lunch. That's what we're going to write in here. Lunches is a little long for the size that I'm writing. And this is getting worse and worse. I should slow down. So there we go. Boy, no set desk lunch. Will I follow it? I don't know. Maybe I should find a different way. Maybe I should set alarms on my Outlook calendar at work or even on my phone that go off every 5 minutes from noon until 1 until I get so irritated with it that I get up and I leave my desk. I don't know. We got to figure that out because it is something that is contributing to my innate workaholism. And yeah, it's just not good. And burnout. One of the reasons I'm always burned out is because I don't take breaks during my workday. And I got to start doing that. Let's get out some more dots. No, that's not the dots. And put a dot up here. 2 dots up here we've already talked about. My son Kenny's birthday and Father's Day. Thursday is the premiere of Bridgerton Season 3 Part 2 because they only dropped half the episodes a month ago. So we're going to put in a reminder. This week is Bridgerton week. And then Kenny's birthday. The boy wants to go bowling, which is wild. He's never struck me as the bowling type. And then for Father's Day, there is a bookstore near here called Books by the Pound, where you literally buy books by the pound. It's a used bookstore. It's massive. You take a box, you fill it with your books, they weigh it, and you can walk out with a whole box full of books for $20. So I sent it to my ex and said, yo, do you want to go to Books by the Pound for Father's Day? And he said, that do look fun. I've been wanting to go. It's self-serving as well. Did invite him to go to Books by the Pound because he loves books too. Yes. Will I also benefit? Yes. I don't know. You never know with used bookstores, right? You never know what you're going to find. I think I'm going to write my reset in blue. This is another one of those things that I keep talking about that I've got to get better at doing. And that's just shutting down everything in the last 30 minutes of my workday and clearing out email, setting up my digital tools for the next day, looking at my to-do list and my planners, my Microsoft planners. That's where I keep all of my event plans. While I do use my journal a little bit for work, I'll put in my top 3 or 4 things that I need to do for the day. When I'm at work, I really do rely on Microsoft Office products because that's what we have. I should have kept that pen in my hand. I'm going to do a blue line down here for the weather. The weather this week, I could copy and paste it from one day to the next because it does not deviate all that much from one day to the next. It's fine by me because it's decent weather this week. Oh, the other thing I forgot up at the top, where's my stencil? The 14th is a first quarter moon. We're just gonna draw this little fella using that circle. Okay, weather. I'm gonna go ahead and write in all the weather and cut it out, and we'll be right back and you'll see what I mean about the weather. As you can see, the most exciting thing about this weather is that there is not a single storm in sight. In fact, the weather just is sunny and slowly increases in temperature over the course of the week. When we go from the mid 80s to the mid 90s as far as our highs, it's sunny. There's a couple days that have a few clouds scattered in, not a storm in sight. I'm super excited by it because I'm tired of the storms. My headaches are tired of the storms. It's close to an ideal week for me. Everyone here complains about the heat and the humidity, and yes, it can be bad. But I prefer this over ice and sleet and snow. I don't complain about the heat when we get there. I might step outside and go, woo, and enjoy our Arkansas, but I'm not mad about it. I'm not mad about it at all. One of the very big different sort of things that I'm going to do this week is definitely health related. And that is because if you look back through my daily entries this week, I was fine Monday morning, and then Monday night I was like, I'm so exhausted. Going back to work was difficult and I'm weary of the thunderstorms. I went to the bed at like 7:30 on Monday night. I didn't go to sleep then. I listened to an audiobook for a while until it was like an appropriate time to go to sleep where I wasn't going to wake up at 3 a.m. But Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, even Friday, Saturday wasn't that bad. Today was bad again. My penchant for being unable to get out of the bed in the morning was in full blown effect. I had the most difficult times this week getting up. I had zero energy. I just couldn't drag myself out of bed. Obviously, I had to, but it's a recurring theme for the week. Like I said, I have a PCP appointment on Wednesday. It's falling at a good time because we can talk about this and see if there's something that we need to do. And of course, after I talk to my PCP, my next stop is to talk to my psychiatrist because, you know, they all go hand in hand, especially with my bipolar disorder. The other thing that I want to put on here are some trackers, which could very much be affecting my energy levels, is that when I was home on vacation for a week, I got out of the habit of really taking some of the medications that I need to take, which I know is not the adult thing to do. And I'm going to put some trackers on here. So in the mornings, I'm going to track my energy level when I get up. I'll probably fill this in when I get to work, but it's going to be, okay, how did it feel when you got up? So from a negative to a positive, somewhere on this scale, we're going to fill in some dots every day. Because like I said, yesterday, Saturday, it was fine. And I didn't really even sleep in. I did get an inordinate amount of sleep. I slept 9 hours, which is not normal for me. And I went to bed earlier and I got up a little bit later, and that's where the 9 hours came in. So we have our little energy scale there. Here I'm going to draw a little pill for morning medications. One of them's blood pressure, which is the next tracker coming up. I don't feel like my blood pressure's been up, but we're going to check it all week anyway. I'm not very good about checking it on my own. I have the sigmometer to do that. I just don't do it very often. And then on Sundays, I have to take a vitamin D supplement, a really big fat one. Then the next thing we're going to do is sometime during the day, probably when I come in from work, which is probably not the greatest time for me to check my blood pressure because I have road rage issues. I don't think anybody can drive anymore. My blood pressure is always up after I've been in the car. If I have to drive to go to my PCP appointment and then they check my blood pressure and they're like, and I'm like, no, I just drove. Give it 5 minutes. It'll come back down. And then in the PM or the afternoon, we're going to do the same thing. So I'm going to draw a little lightning bolt. That's what this is meant to be. It's a lightning bolt. And again, put our negative, positive energy levels to see where we're at. A lot of this could also be lifestyle changes because I am predominantly eating healthier. Now, I would think that that would give me a little bit more energy, but I could be dealing with some sugar withdrawal. I've had far less sugar than would be normal simply because I've realized that there's sugar in almost everything that's prepackaged. A lot of that has gone out of my diet. It's not like I was inhaling cookies all the time or anything, but it's just sugar is plugged into almost any food that is prepackaged here in the United States. All right, and again, we're going to go ahead and put in the box for our PM medication. My bipolar medication, I predominantly take at night. I take a lithium in the morning, I take a lithium at night, but I also take a Seroquel at night, and that's the one that allows me to sleep. That's the one that shuts up the voices in my head and lets me sleep. But then on Wednesdays, I also need to replace my hormone replacement therapy patch, and I need to do it again on Sundays. And that is another thing that is deeply affecting my energy levels. I started the hormone replacement therapy last September and had an immediate improvement in focus and attention. So here's that regular one. We'll do another box for hormone replacement and then another box for another medication that I take only on Sundays. There we go. I know it looks weird. Hopefully it'll be a little bit more filled out. I could go ahead and put in dots here and then cross them off, but that just seems too tedious, doesn't it? Just seems way too tedious to do that. And then blood pressure would be 120/70 or whatever. That's what the slashes are for. The last thing I'm going to do on this page before decorating it, I'm going to put a quote down here because it's been another difficult week. The sleep situation has been an issue. The energy levels have been an issue. Part of that, again, could be overwhelm, specifically about the fact that my therapist has had me take some tests, and I'm going to still need to talk to my psychiatrist. I'm like 99%. Also have some form of adult ADHD on top of my bipolar disorder, which shouldn't be a surprise. I spent a lot of this week deep down in some medical journals because that's what I do. When I find out about something, I deep dive, I research, I'm all over it. I should have been tested for ADHD years ago. One of the medical journals that I read, and I can't cite it right now, I have notes in here somewhere from it, stated that 1 in 20 individuals from their study that has ADHD also has bipolar disorder. But if you reverse that, 1 in 8 individuals who has bipolar disorder also has ADHD. And that's a wild statistic since I've been living with bipolar disorder, diagnosed for 29 years now. I should have been tested a long, long time ago. That study was from 2019, 2020. Mental health is weird. Looking back, this should be none of a surprise. If you look at me as a kid, I was a kid with full-blown ADHD, but I was always outside burning it off. I was always running barefoot through the Kenyan forest like a little wild child, or climbing a tree, or playing rugby with the boys because I was a very big tomboy. I was constantly burning it off. All right, let's put some decoration on this page before we go do our list 24 for the week. I cut out the peacock because I was feeling some peacock vibes. Love a good peacock moment. Is that gonna mess up my... Yeah, we'll stick it down here. Yeah, so I've been deep in the rabbit hole of adult ADHD and coping mechanisms and what overlaps with bipolar and what doesn't overlap with bipolar. And I mean, it's clearly there, especially the way I've been feeling about work lately, and that I've been shutting down when it comes to work and procrastinating and putting things off and putting things off. It's all been doom and gloom on the work front. It all fits. I'll put things off and then I'll get everything done in one day. We're gonna stick this little film reel up here for our Bridgerton. If I'm working remote that day and I don't have any meetings, man, I'll be working on projects and stuff. I'm gonna have some Bridgerton on. I can guarantee that will be the case. Let's put this flower over there. Grab our blue and highlight the week. Now, the fact that We do not yet know what we're doing on these days because my ex-husband can't commit to some stuff yet. It's driving me crazy. Kenny and I were out yesterday. He texted me, "Are you home?" And I was like, "Well, yeah, I am at the moment." Look, I have just folded up my poor little sticker. So we went to lunch and we did some shopping and got out of the house for a little bit and hung out. Just mom and son. It was good. He goes, "I know, they just don't get how you like to have things laid out." Not long after Kenny and I got back, his dad called and apologized for not circling back around with me when I asked 3 or 4 days ago on the family text, "What's the plan for Saturday and Sunday?" He has a very large family. And so there's all of these questions about whether people are coming into town for Father's Day or are they not. And then his mom's birthday is the week after Kenny's. A lot of the family is like, we'll do mom's birthday and Father's Day on the same weekend. My ex-husband is like, you guys forget that Kenny's birthday is also this weekend. They're trying to work things out in large family style. I'm trying to be patient. I feel a little bit better now that he's called me, but he had literally ignored my texts for 4 days and I was pretty put out. The other thing is I do a lot of work for Beth and Beyond on weekends. And so if my whole weekend is booked up, then I need to know. If we're only spending 1 day doing both things, Kenny's birthday and Father's Day, then I'm good. But it's a whole situation. We're going to flip back to list 23 was our list from last week. It was things that make you laugh. I love Kenny. He makes me laugh too. But my youngest kid, he is 24, is the funniest person in the family. He just is a joy. He's such a joy. Faramir and Eowyn are the Beth and Beyond felines. They make me laugh all the time. People watching. I like to people watch. A really great meme. I do love Jane Austen. I think she's cheeky. I laugh a lot when I read Jane Austen. I am not when it comes to television, I'm not a sitcom person. Like 30-minute comedies don't really ring well with me. I don't like to go see stand-up comedians all that often. Some of them are funny. Some of them irritate the hell out of me. It just depends on what it is. I could put on here because I just finished reading Shakespeare, The Man Who Pays the Rent from Judi Dench, and I guffawed through that book. I laughed more in the last 2-3 days than I have in a long time while listening to the audiobook for that. Like I said, I've been deep in my dailies. Some of that had to do with this ADHD revelation. I am here and my weekly ritual, and it was just like a quick reflection on paper and then a plus, a minus, and a next. So what was well, what was not that great, what do I need to do next? When this next button, I also went back through my dailies and any of these bullet points that weren't crossed off, I also put on here to remind myself to put them on my to-do list for the next week. Let's do list 24, make a blue line just because it's a vibe that I'm liking. I'm looking around me, wondering where my 52 lists book is. Should have pinpointed that before I sat down. All right, it's always close by. Had to make a lot of noise to get it though. All right, 52 lists project. 23, list the things that make you laugh. List 24 is list your quirks. I think I have many. I don't know about you. Daily action, read your list. Did you write any in a negative way? Rewrite them from a positive perspective. Then tape them to your mirror and be reminded every day that you are quirky, charming, and wonderful. I don't know that I would write any of my quirks in a negative way. I kind of embrace those. When it comes to pens, and I know we're all weird about our pens, right, in the stationery community. But even before I took up being in the stationery community, I hate writing with a blue pen. Black is the way to go. In college, didn't want to take notes in a blue pen. Didn't want to have anything to do with a blue pen. I think that was predominant because at boarding school in Kenya, if I needed to buy pens, like we had a small store and stuff that we could go to, and it would charge our parents. All we had were blue Bic pens, the ones with the clear barrel that don't write great. And man, by the time I got out of school, I didn't want to have anything to do with a blue pen. That's quirky, right? Even if I'm out to eat and paying and then they bring me the receipt to sign, if they hand me a blue pen, like, I will eyeball it. I'll still sign it. I'm not gonna go digging in my purse for my pen just to sign a receipt. But like, my kids know, and they'll see my eyes like cut down to the damn blue pen, and they're like, Mom, it's quirky, it's weird, I embrace it, it's totally fine. Other quirky or weird, or you might even say gross things, I reminded myself of a quirk yesterday because I had reached the point where I didn't have any more meals that were prepped. My groceries had been delivered. I could have meal prepped yesterday, but I went out with Kenny instead. So I hadn't meal prepped anything. I have to meal prep after I finish filming this video for the rest of the week. And so I defaulted to like a can of tomato soup, and I made a grilled cheese sandwich. I like mustard on my grilled cheese sandwiches. I got it from my dad. He also liked mustard on his grilled cheese. That's another thing that's quirky. That's weird. Most people don't want to do that. They don't want to combine mustard with the cheese sort of situation. So, what did it say? Did it say list your quirks? All right, so list your quirks. I think this is a really good one. I like this one. I want to know what your quirks are. I want you guys to come down in the comments and start outing yourself on what your quirks are. If I'm telling you that I break out into hives when I have to use a blue pen, or that I like mustard on my grilled cheese sandwiches, then you have to tell me what your quirks are. I have more. I gotta think about them. I mean, I know I have a fair number, I'm sure. Another one of those things that probably should have clued me in a long time ago, that I have ADHD. Let's be real. Okay, I'm trying to have a good attitude about it. And one of the reasons I'm trying to have a good attitude about it is because it kind of explains a lot. And I see it more as, now I can explore some tools to help me with some of this shit, rather than struggling with the why. Why can't I get motivated to do this thing? Why am I worried about this thing? Why am I overthinking that thing? I've been dealing with my bipolar disorder for 29 years and building this toolkit to help me deal with it. Now I can also come up with a toolkit to help me with the ADHD side of things as well. So I didn't see it as like another death sentence. I really saw it as, okay, what's going to help me through this? Let's make things better. Speaking of making things better, I think I need to put one of my Kit quotes down here. I'm going to cut it out real quick. Okay, so this one reads, I hope you will run through every open door and tell stories when you return. I guess that we're just going to treat this ADHD information like another open door. And if you are new here, then my overarching journaling theme for 2024 is the 10,000 Doors of January. That's where this quote comes from. My June theme is the cobalt door. I made a blue door, and we've been creating fictional worlds of what would be behind each door, and that's where all of my kit stickers come from. So there we go. We are ready with list 24. And we are ready with Oi, No Sad Desk Lunches for June 10th through the 16th, leading into the US Father's Day and my son's birthday. If you liked this plan with me, I know it was all over the place. Again, it's that brain, right? It's going nuts right now with new information. You know what to do. Please go ahead and give this video a thumbs up. Subscribe if you haven't already. Make sure to let me know what your quirks are, and I will catch you in the next one.